All right, everybody. A lot of people have these in their house. Everybody has these in their house. But sometimes you have where you go to use these outlets and they wobble or they push in. Looks fine until you go to put something in and it moves. It's not good. But something's wrong, and we're going to get into why that happens. It wobbles and moves. One of the first things we're going to do, I'm going to turn the power off to this. So we're going to open up our fuse panel. I already know right here, this is my living room because we're in the process of doing some wiring. And now my living room is off. And I'm going to test this to show that it's right. In order to ensure and make sure that this outlet is not live, we're just going to plug something into it and try to turn it on. Our vacuum's got nothing. So we know this outlet is dead and safe to work on. So we're going to go over what causes this. We're also going to be changing this outlet out and doing everything we can to make sure that this doesn't happen with the new one. So we're going to go ahead and take our plate off. And what normally happens with these is when they're cutting these boxes out, the sheetrock where these little fins would normally kind of hold, they'll either wear away or they'll be cut too big, so it doesn't allow that to happen. Also, the box, the electrical box that the houses all the wiring is recessed a little too far back from the edge of the sheetrock. If that box was all the way flush, like it should be, this would butt directly against that. So as you can see, coming out, it doesn't want to come out, but it allows it to push further in past that sheetrock. I'm going to take this out. And we're going to disconnect our wires and redo this. These, they just did the push backs, which I do not like. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some little jumpers and wire nut these and come out. It makes it a little bit better. These are a little bit short, so in doing the new one might be a little difficult. So we're just going to come in here and cut these right at the back of the outlet. The ground wire. We can just reuse that one. It's not as bad. This is 14 gauge, so we're going to strip this back. That's our neutrals. We got our hot. And we're going to pause for a second so I can go get some wires and make these a little bit longer. So now we have some that are a little bit longer. Yes, these are long for right now, but it's the beauty. We can always cut them back. At this point, there is no reason to save any of it. We have our wire nuts. I'm going to do our neutrals first. As you can see, I have them all stripped right about the same. We're going to hold them. I like to give them a pre-twist to make sure that I know they're wrapping well, because sometimes you'll have one that just doesn't wrap and it just doesn't get good. A little cut. And then we will do our hots. Once again, you want to make sure your power is off before you start doing any of this. And we're going to go ahead and get a good twist on these. Get this a little smooth. Get our wire nuts. I prefer the wire nuts that have the little spots that you can really grab on. And you'll notice that there is no exposed copper behind that wire nut. You want to make sure that your wire nuts are covering all of that copper. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the back of our box, which means any future outlet, we now have enough right here. Cut these about 4 to 6 inches out. Strip back. Now, the way to fix this, to keep it from pushing in, you could re-mud this, but that's a whole process. I use these 1/4 inch PEX pipe. I come in, I'll put all the way on the bottom, and then I'll make a little mark right where about the sheetrock would be. Put a B for that's the bottom. I'll go to the top one. Since the top one's a little bit easier, I can mark it right at the edge of the sheetrock, and I'll make a T. So I have a bottom and a top. Then I just take, these are some pipe cutters I have. I have all these tools. You might be able to cut it with a razor blade if you're very cautious with it. But these are going to cut it right where I need it. Keep straight. Go right where I need. And I know which one's which. Now, one of the other things I like to do is get some longer screws that are going to go into the electrical outlet. It's a number 6 by 32. These are 1.5 inches. Might be a little bit longer, but for me, I prefer to be able to go as deep as I can in there. That way I know it's going to hold. It really doesn't make a difference. You just don't want to be too short since you're extending that. We're going to go ahead and take the ones that came with the outlet out. They have these little holders on the back that you might be able to pull them off once you get them started. You do have to screw it to get it going, so that way you can get a grip on it. And then you just hold and pull. Since we are going to be using just one lug on this, do not do the push-ins. That's the novice way out. We're going to go around the lugs on these. Go ahead and tighten the top ones. I know you don't have to, but I prefer to do that. Your black is always going to go to your darker, which is your hot, and your neutral is always going to go to silver. So they're kind of somewhat color-coded. You want to make sure when you're bending this to go around that you're going to follow the direction of tightening the screw. Because if you if you have it bent around, you'll actually unwrap it. You want to make sure when you're tightening that, it's grabbing it and pulling it tighter into the screw. So my neutral, I'm going to bend in this direction, because when I'm tightening it's that way. And then my hot, I'm going to give it a little loop around in the other direction. Because as I go on, I want to make sure that as it tightens, it actually pulls it and wraps it around that post on there. Sometimes if it's a little bit, you didn't get enough, you can just give it a little squeeze, and now you're on there. Make sure you hold your outlet tight. I have this set to a certain torque amount, which don't want to over tighten it. The other thing you notice that the screw is touching metal. I'm not actually screwing on top of the protective sheathing of the wire on either side, nor do I have a large amount of wire exposed. You want to keep that to a minimum. You also want that screw to bite down just on the copper. If you're biting down on the insulating sheathing of the wire, you're not getting as good of a connection. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our ground wire connected on. And same thing with ground wire. You want it to be wrapping so that way it gets tighter around the actual post of the screw. So you notice if we were to go to put back in, we're going to have that same issue. It's going to want to go into the wall. We'll take our one that's got the B on it for the bottom, put our screw through, slide through our a little extension bushing. Go to the top. And this is why I like the longer ones. It makes it a little easier to get it through. And most people are going to be using some type of screwdriver anyway, some type of power to run these in. If you are running with a regular hand drill, yeah, it might suck. We'll go ahead and make sure our outlet is level, which it is. Because with these outlets, you do have a little bit of left and right that you can, or diagonal of it. And we're going to go ahead and, now you're going to notice, I go to push on it, it's not going anywhere. That little bushing right there did everything it needed. So we're going to go ahead, move on with a decor, tamper resistant, because that's code now. You have to have tamper resistant in your homes. We're going to go ahead and make our, so we've got a brand new outlet. You'll notice we're going to go to plug in. It doesn't, doesn't push into the wall. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now we're going to go turn this on and test it. All right, living room on. Oh, there you go. It's working. If you made it this far in the video, first I would like to say thank you very much. Please make sure to subscribe for more videos. If you have any questions, comments, I know there are going to be a lot of electricians out there that are going to have something to say about the way I did it. I am not an electrician, but I do have enough electrical knowledge to change out an outlet in my own house. So please comment, let me know what you think of the video and what you might like to see next. Y'all have a good day.